Anytime I hear somebody talking about mental abuse upon a dog or emotional abuse upon a dog, I just know instantly I'm listening to somebody that doesn't understand, one, the court system and understand dogs. It just doesn't exist. And the reason why it doesn't exist is because the dog is nothing like you. They don't ponder thought. They don't have a psychology like a human being. A human being can ponder thought. Your dog doesn't think, it responds. So it's totally different than you. So anytime you hear somebody saying something like that, the only place you're going to hear that is in any court system, would be the court of public opinion, and we're talking about the internet. It doesn't exist. Dogs don't ponder thought. They don't have a psychology like a human being. Okay? So it's just impossible for that to even take place in the eyes of the court, or just, you know, as far as the dog goes. If you get that dog that's been abused by the abusive person out of that situation, they start responding normal. They all do. Michael Vick's dogs, all dogs, you get that. That's why I do a board and train, is because people fuck their dogs up. I got to get them away from the people to make the dog, you know, sound again. And then we'll bring them back in, explaining to the people not to do certain things. But it doesn't exist. There is no mental abuse. There is no emotional abuse. For that to take place, the dog would have to have a psychology, and they don't. When Cesar Millan talks about dog psychology, he's talking about the psychology between dog and man. Do you understand? That's just shit that's put out by Millan to make people think in an anthropomorphic way about the dog. It doesn't exist. If it did, that would be a crime. And it isn't a crime for a reason, because it doesn't exist. Those dogs in Alaska that are staked out, there really isn't any emotional, you know, it's not like, oh, I'm so cold, I want to go in, I'm miserable, or anything like that. They don't think. They just respond. When they're cold like that, they'll just start shivering. So it doesn't exist. When you hear somebody talking about emotional abuse or mental abuse upon a dog, it doesn't exist, and you're listening to somebody that really doesn't understand dogs. I love dogs, and I hate these people that are abusive to dogs, but people that put out this nonsense, you know, that the dog is like a morphed little human being, are just as bad as the people that are doing this serious abuse. It's not helpful. We have 4 million dogs dying, and we have nonsense on the internet. You can go to websites right now that will say that emotional abuse, you can tell if your dog is emotionally abused if it has food aggression, separation anxiety, you know, any type of behavior that's unwanted. It's all caused by emotional abuse or mental abuse. And it's bullshit. Some dogs are just hardwired to be a certain way, and dogs respond to everything around them, including you. So if you don't send the proper message to the dog, you start getting a dog that, you know, behaves lousy.